Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing Jurassic World. So if you don't know what this music is, if this music does not get you hyped, go home. You are not here for this episode. This one is for people who have seen Jurassic World already. I have with me David Robertson. Hello, David.
Uh,
And what we're doing today is we're reviewing Jurassic World again. You might be asking why we're bothering, because I've already done Jurassic World once already. And yes, that is entirely true. But this is a film, I think you agree, David, that is practically a different film once you've seen it. Once you're actually looking at it in the light of having seen it, it's a very different film to talk about. And one that's difficult to review, as I said in my previous review, difficult to talk about before you can tell people what's in it, because there's so much about this film that refers to itself and is very metatextual, and so it is a very different thing in retrospect. So that being said, this is very much a spoiler review. If you have not seen the film, do not listen to this review because you will have it spoiled. Instead, what you want to do with this review is turn it off, go see the film, read my first review, then go see the film, then listen to this review, and then read my first review for good measure again because I need the views. I have David Robertson with me today. He's currently studying film and visual culture at Aberdeen University, so he's here to tell us all of the subtextual Rashomon-esque elements of this crazy dinosaur film. And it's fantastic to have him here with us today. Thank you very much for joining me.
that's all right.
So to begin with, David, what did you think of the film? What was your overview? 10 words or less.
First of all, I thought you were genuinely going to punk me with the harmonium version of the
Oh god, yeah.
theme tune. I thought we were going to get the chromatic harmonica, but no, I'm a little disappointed, but it's all good.
I'll link that for anyone who hasn't seen it because it's a fantastic piece of hidden YouTube content.
Oh dear. But
Reviews on the
yeah,
film.
really good summer blockbuster. Too clever for its own good. Enjoyable, but only the second best Jurassic Park film there is still, which isn't negative criticism. Still a good film. It's just
Yeah, it's good to be close to as good as it gets. I think that's a very important point, that it's too clever for its own good, and I think we'll definitely come back to that. In terms of a summary, as I say, for a spoiler review, it doesn't really need to be done, because if you're listening to this now, you should have already seen it, and it's absolutely a film that I would recommend to see. You absolutely will. But what we're going to be looking at today is you've got Jurassic Park in the future, but in present day, it's literally supposed to be 23 years since John Hammond's original Jurassic Park, which came out 23 years ago. And everything's up and running now. The park is open, and in a sense, dinosaurs have become boring. It's not interesting to be seeing this. That moment in the first film where Grant sees the dinosaur for the first time and takes his glasses off because he just can't believe what he's seeing is dead. And so we need to come up with new and interesting ways of doing that. Now, I think that's one of the most fascinating things about the film, and I think it's explored wonderfully in the first third of how jaded we are in this world of instant technology and instant consumption of entertainment, where we need big, flashy spectacles to entertain ourselves. We're not interested in the novelty of it anymore. And I think on a subtextual level, the film is all about that.
yeah, I definitely have to agree. I think it's definitely the whole point of the Jurassic World film. It's kind of reading is that it's about how the franchise has affected the summer blockbuster and stuff, and really about Spielberg's imprint. But at the same time, I think it slightly relies too heavily on kind of goodwill from the audience, because I mean the first few it very quickly gets to the park. The first scene is the egg opening, and then it's the snowy house, and then you're driving through the gates, and there's no kind of wow moment. Like, I remember the first time watching Jurassic Park 1, and they drive through the gates, and you really are, like, it's like Heart of Darkness, you're going into the unknown. And this time, I think the film, I totally agree, in the first, like, third, it kind of reflects how we are, you know, what's the word?
Jaded.
Jaded, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you're absolutely right. And I suppose, as disappointing as it is, in a way, not to have that wow moment, that's kind of what the film is going for. But here we have the fundamental flaw in the film. And for those listening, I mean, we're gonna talk about the problems we had with it. I think you'll agree with me, David. That is to a backdrop of this is a fantastic film that you should absolutely go and see. So we're nitpicking in a way, but I think you really nailed it when you said that the film is too clever for its own good, because in exactly what you're talking about there, where there's no wow moment because the film is specifically trying to talk about how we don't have wow moments in film anymore. That is an example of one of these moments, and I can't really put it any better than this. You just can't tell what's parody and what's just bad. You know, there's this great shot, for example, where you go up the main street of this new Jurassic Park, which is now open to the public, and all over it is product placement, and it ends on this big, I believe it's Samsung, this big Samsung banner over.
I noticed that as well, like the Samsung Center for Learning or whatever.
Yeah, precisely. And you just go, is that an ingenious commentary on marketing in movies, or is that just really lazy product placement that got this movie funded? And that is a big problem throughout the film, where you have these moments where I mean, from the trailer, you know, the moment where the Mosasaurus, the big water alligator thing, eats the pterodon, and the pterodon goes, "Ah, you bastard! Why did you eat me?" And you just go, is that commentary on how stupid that is, or is that just really stupid? And it's kind of hard to tell the difference in a lot of parts of the movie. And we're going to talk about three sort of aspects of the movie where I think that's a big problem.
Well, just going off the Mosasaur scene, I mean, I've heard a lot of people point out, before I noticed it, like the Mosasaur eats the shark, which is like...
Literally eating Jaws, yeah.
Yeah, it's eating Jaws. Like, nah, don't invoke Jaws. It's a much better film. It's much more subtle, and it does so much more with smaller budget, and, you know, I miss the practical effects. There's nothing quite like, you know, that prosthetic, you know, velociraptor claw opening the door.
Yeah.
It's just a little too clean, I think, with all the CGI dinosaurs as well.
I fully agree. I said as much in the previous review of, I think one of the issues with the film is that the menace of the prosthetics is completely gone. You see it in bits and pieces, you know, the prosthetics of the raptors with their heads in the cages, for example. That's scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, that thing where the thing lurking behind the leaves and stuff is lost because it doesn't look real anymore. I think, though, about your comment with Jaws, that was one of the moments, interestingly, that I really liked. I thought that was a really subtle gag, because that I took as the film going, blockbusters today literally try and replace the blockbusters of yesteryear. You know, think about all the reboots and remakes we've had that are literally trying to take the place of those movies. And I thought that was a really subtle way of kind of visualizing that. But here we have exactly the point I'm making, which is it's impossible to say whether or not that's sticking the finger up at
commentary, or whether that's like, you know, a nod, or, you know, it's... I think it's slightly too ambitious.
Yeah. But one of the biggest problems, and we're kind of skirting around it, I think, is the villain of the movie. And it is a villain in the twirling my mustache nyah 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 way. is the hybrid Rex in the movie called the Indominus Rex, which again is a rather subtle joke, which I actually quite liked, especially because it took me a few days to figure out. Because of course, if the Tyrannosaurus Rex is the T-Rex, then the Indominus Rex is the...
It's the I-Rex.
Yeah, exactly. Get it? You know, Apple-sponsored dinosaur, except in the film I think it's actually Verizon that sponsors it, so it's all over the place.
Oh yeah, Verizon sponsored dinosaur.
But this is a film that they've cobbled. This is a dinosaur story that they've cobbled together out of other dinosaurs, and they explain it as much in the trailer. I'll play you the clip.
We have learned more in the past decade from genetics than a century of digging up bones. A whole new frontier has opened up. We have our first genetically modified hybrid.
You just went and made a new dinosaur? Probably not a good idea.
Now that clip, I mean, that's straight out of, you know, the old Frankenstein movies. You know, I when that was playing, I couldn't help but remember that old Futurama clip. You know, the one with the scary door Twilight Zone, where he's creating the most evil animal in the world. I'll play that one as well.
I have combined the DNA of the world's most evil animals to make the most evil creature of them all.
It turns out it's man.
It's exactly the same gag in a way that it is very much a gag. It's playing on that, you know, has science gone too far? And the idea of that in the sort of subtextual sense is, have movies gone too far? And I go, well, yes, and so have you. You know, there's I forget who said it, but there's a wonderful writer who I read once talking about sort of parody, who says that it only works if you do better the thing that you're parodying. You cannot point out that something is stupid and then do the same stupid thing. And I think the Indominus Rex does that, and sort of we'll talk a little bit of why. There are things like it can camouflage.
Yep. It can hide its thermal signature. It can open doors, I guess.
Yeah. Now,
it's Raptor.
Tell me, where as a genetically designed zoo animal is camouflage useful? Have you ever been to Edinburgh Zoo and gone, you know, I can't see the cheetah? That's fantastic.
Yes.
But you know, it makes no sense.
They explain it away with exposition, which at first I felt was, you know, clever, because they're saying there were unprecedented, you know, consequences of them messing around. I think they introduced the chameleon DNA so it can survive in a tropical environment and stuff like that. So, but then when you're just making up, when you're just giving your dinosaur superpowers whenever it needs them, it kind of starts to undermine its own point, you know.
Yeah. And make no mistake, you know, this is an animal with superpowers. There's a point where, you know, Chris Pratt comes literally face to face with it, and it all but turns around and says to him, like, "Gotcha now." You know, it's ridiculous. And this in a scenario where we're talking about the same idea as the first movie, and it's trying to link itself to the first movie by saying, these are animals we're talking about. This is just a park. This is just a zoo.
Yeah, they repeat control so much. It's a bit beating you over the head. It's
oh, God, yeah. But it's trying to do that thing that Jurassic Park did of, you can't control these things because these are wild animals. You know, it's the Jeff Goldblum whole thing of, you know, humans and dinosaurs separated by 65 million years. How can you expect to put them in the same playpen and expect that they'll get along? And then this film goes, well, we managed, except we didn't, except we did, except we didn't, you know? and you know, that comes through as well in the out of nowhere subplot with the Velociraptors. Now the Velociraptors are kind of a sticking point for a lot of people. You can sort of correct me if you disagreed, but when a lot of people saw the trailer where you've got Chris Pratt riding the motorcycle alongside the Velociraptors,
I thought that was kind of stupid.
A lot of people did. And then a lot of other people went, oh, that's so totally cool. He's going to be riding with Velociraptors. The whole thing with that in the film is Chris Pratt has a measure of control, which Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays the sort of human bad guy, wants to exploit to make military-grade Velociraptors.
Yeah.
Now, the sentence military-grade Velociraptors is something out of a 70s Arnie flick.
Yeah,
We're now
it's getting a little
talking-
bit Iron Sky with Nazis on the moon.
Exactly. This is
like a bit like-
full-on bargain bin sci-fi.
Yeah.
But in a summer blockbuster. And again, I just find myself going, I kind of see what you're trying to do there in terms of this insane plot, you know, of these dastardly villains, and they always come to, you know, the military. It always comes. It's basically trying to do Alien.
Yeah. I'm like, why are you and they, you know the bit where he has to reason with the Velociraptor, like, I'm on your side. I'm like,
Yes, and it nods assent.
shoot it in the face and run.
But the thing that
Talk
really,
to it.
the thing that really bothers me about it, and this isn't with hindsight, this was, you know, during the film, I had my head in my hands, is Vincent D'Onofrio turns up when Chris Pratt is feeding the Velociraptors, and he's on this over the top platform over their cage, and it kind of looks like he's got control over them. They're doing what he's telling them, in a way a dog might answer to a treat, right? And then someone falls in, and the raptors go for them. And then Chris Pratt goes in and does his whole thing from the trailer where he's holding his hands up, and they don't go for him at first, right?
Yeah.
And he runs away, and they totally go for him and keep trying to go for him. And then Vincent D'Onofrio looks at that and goes, yeah, they're under control.
Success.
They're taking orders. And it's like, on what planet is that person living? You know, we're supposed to be putting this in a universe where I believe that this is going to happen, but you're so beholden to having this archetype of this villain with a plan for the military that you actually ignore the practicality of that, where you want to have your big scary moments as well. And I feel like that's just doing too much at once. And I'd say that's more a problem with the characterization than with the Raptors per se, because you could do a story where he's kind of got control but not really, and that's just the first movie again.
Yeah.
But to have the character of Vincent D'Onofrio in that, just blindly ignoring what's directly in front of his face, is completely, you know, breaking the mystique of the film.
But at the same time, you know, running parallel to that is Chris Pratt is never in any danger. He's Chris Pratt. He's expensive, so they're not going to harm him, are they?
True, but the same could have been said of any of the main characters in the first movie.
Yes, that's true. And I'm not sure what the difference is. In the first movie, I was generally worried that maybe it's because I was young and naive, but now I've seen so many films, like when the character is standing to one side and there's a big space that's perfect for something to jump into view, I'm like, oh, something's about to surprise me.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, a big bloody hand comes up in the window.
Yeah.
But with this film, I wasn't ever... Yeah, I got surprised with some of the chomps because they were loud and they jump scared me. But I was pretty sure that both the boys would survive. You know, I was almost 100% Chris Pratt would survive. And I kind of thought Claire, Bryce Dallas Howard's character, would get it. Because I thought she was more of a villain. Because I'll be honest, you know how they've made hybrid dinosaurs?
Yeah.
They've made hybrid members of the original cast as well, if you think about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
Chris Pratt, Owen O'Grady. He's, you know, obviously Grant and Muldoon.
Yeah.
Claire is Ellie Statler and Hammond, I think, really.
In a way.
In a way. And then Vincent D'Onofrio, even, he's a weird kind of Ned Beatty and Ian Malcolm, except a bad version of Ian Malcolm, you know, with his scenery chewing scenes and his giggling kind of, you know, shit-eating grin, you know.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying in as much as I think every single character from the first film has a doppelganger in this film, and I think that is a problem. But I think that's exactly why the character of Claire survives and D'Onofrio doesn't, is you need to have your kind of bad but not really character who gets redemption, John Hammond in Jurassic Park, and your actually pretty damn bad character who doesn't, which is your Gennaro in Jurassic Park. You know, we're going to make a fortune off this place. No, you're not. You just got chewed in half while taking a crap.
Yeah. Yeah. I that's another thing. Excuse me. The millionaire, I wasn't affected by his demise at all. I don't think enough of, like, it was all security guards because it was in the park and they had so many nameless kind of filler, extras as the guests. Like when people got picked out of the sky by the Pteranodons, I didn't mind. Like it wasn't named cast members who were getting
but
picked
you're
off.
just heartless, David.
What can I say? I like some stakes. There were no stakes in the film.
Let me put something to you that I've been reading various reviews of this, and somebody mentioned this. I would credit them, but I forget exactly who it was. No, I don't. It was Movie Bob, formerly of The Escapist.
Yeah.
Who made this comparison. I thought it was very interesting. If I were to tell you that you have a movie which brings in something that nobody's ever seen before, and it's absolutely terrifying because it's a kind of visual effect that nobody had ever really encountered before, and it looks damn scary, right? It has a relatively small enclosed space, a relatively small enclosed cast, which are picked off here and there, but the hero is going to survive from the very beginning, and they survive at the end, and it's pretty enclosed as an animal. Then a sequel comes along who reopens it, says, here's the same thing with more CGI and a bunch of commandos that we can pick off because you don't really care about them. Right?
Yep.
But largely we're doing the same thing. The same tick the boxes numbers are being done. I could be talking about two different sets of films. I could either be talking about Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, or, and I already made the comparison once, I could be talking about Alien and Aliens. Right? But Aliens is often considered to be superior to Alien, whereas I don't think anybody would say Jurassic World is superior to Jurassic Park. What do you think the difference is, given that they're doing much the same thing?
I suppose. I mean, Alien's famous because it takes like 40 minutes for them to build up. It does all its character building. Kind of theatre craft. Intimate scenes.
Yeah.
To begin with. But I suppose, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park is a slightly different animal because it begins with the Velociraptor eating, the guy, and it starts the whole lawsuit, which brings in, Ian Malcolm and Grant and stuff.
Not that we really know that's what it is in a specific sense. Obviously, we know from the trailers, but yeah.
I suppose I think it is a very interesting comparison because it is very accurate. I think Jurassic World for me fails really. I don't know. I wasn't attached to any of the characters the way I was in either of the Alien films.
I'll put you out your misery because I'll tell you why I think Aliens works where this doesn't. And to those furiously writing comments on my Facebook page, I'm not for a moment saying that this film ranks alongside Aliens.
Or Alien.
Or Alien, for that matter. Where this film has a problem that Aliens doesn't is Aliens goes, remember Alien? That was cool. Anyway, here's a new thing.
Yeah.
Jurassic World goes, remember Jurassic Park? That was cool. Remember Jurassic Park? That was cool. Hey, remember Jurassic Park? That was cool. Let's not forget, there is a character in this movie who literally wears a Jurassic Park t-shirt and goes, how cool was Jurassic Park? This film is
that thing was legit.
overly reverent and so trying to be twee as well about the sequels, which, let's not forget, this film is very aware that the sequels were bad as well. Which kind of brings us to the Apatosaurus in the room, which is the ending. Now, those of us who have seen it are aware that the ending is literally a battle royale between the I-Rex, the remaining Velociraptors, who literally make the decision to go on Chris Pratt's team rather than follow their instinct. Remember, these are animals. Wink, wink. And the T-Rex, who's the hero of the movie. And there was a division in the cinema when I saw it of when the T-Rex arrived, and it's not in the movie up to that point, really, of people who went, yeah, T-Rex is on the scene, and people who went, as I did, really, this is how you're going to use the T-Rex? Keeping in mind, you know, in the third film, we literally had the Spinosaurus kill the T-Rex as a statement of this is going to replace the T-Rex as the new marketable dinosaur. And in this film, we have the T-Rex barrel through the skeleton of the Spinosaurus in vengeance. You know,
What was that? Oh, I thought that was just another T-Rex. Was that a Spinosaurus?
The skeleton that the
right.
T-Rex destroys is the Spinosaurus from the third one. That is how meta we're talking here, and it's tiring.
Yeah. I like how they don't mention the other two. They mention like the original Jurassic Park incident. They don't mention, you know, the T-Rex eating dogs in San Francisco or whatever, you know.
Well, yes.
They glaze over that.
They've all been neuralized since then. The
you know what? I enjoyed watching it because I think it would. There's like a primal, no pun intended, part of me that likes the idea of like a three-way fight between like hybrid dinosaur, T-Rex, Velociraptor. I think it was a huge amount of fan service, but they didn't earn it. You know, that whole joke again. And did you guess the Mosasaur was going to eat the I-Rex?
I didn't care at that point. I truly didn't care because...
No, I totally knew the Mosasaur was going to jump out and eat. After it ate the woman, I knew it was going to eat the I-Rex. I was like, that's going to be the end of the film. That's so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, you know, we're running on a wee bit now, so we'll sort of close it down. It was very much my hope in this discussion that we would be able to have a sort of, here's the good, here's the bad.
Yeah.
But and I think it's important, it proves something about the film that we didn't, and that's that enjoying this film comes down to whether or not you're one of these people who says it's just a film, it doesn't bear that much analysis. Now, that phrase is one of my pet hates. I truly, truly annoy it because, as everyone who's ever read my blog will know, I can absolutely talk the ear off anybody about a number of films, and there's a lot of films that I go, that was stupid, that was pointless, that was idiotic. The Transformers film are a huge offender of, I go, this is cinema death. You know, this is really bad films. And people go, oh, don't get so uptight, it's just a film. And I go, just a film is dangerous to cinema. Because when we just start saying just a film, we stop caring about story, we stop caring about narrative, we stop caring about good filmmaking. And I'm sure, especially given that you study it, you know, you agree that complacency in filmmaking is killing the industry at the moment.
Definitely. I mean, that's why things like Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival, tries to stays relevant. You know, when you settle for the lowest common denominator, like anything can get funded, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not saying, you know, someone's dream project shouldn't get off the ground, but, you know, I think it is disheartening when, you know, Michael Bay's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles makes money, not enough money to warrant, you know, praise or criticism, or even the money it earns. But, you know, it's just kind of coasting.
Yeah, enough to give it a sequel.
Like, you know, I think it is, you know, disheartening to young filmmakers, you know.
And with Jurassic World, the tragic thing about it is that it comes from a basis of okay films. Let's be fair, Jurassic Park, when put in the context of Jurassic Park 2 and Jurassic Park 3, turns out to an okay franchise and creates a pretty good sequel, which is great if you just want to watch a summer blockbuster and not think about it too much. But as we've kind of shown here today, as soon as you start actually talking about it, kind of breaks down under that.
But you know what? I laughed all through the film as well. That's the funny thing. I enjoyed it. It's just, I think if you're recommending it to people, you have to say, look, it's dumb and it's fun, and I think it falls short. But because it was too ambitious. And I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. I think it should have taken maybe a couple more years in development. Or maybe they should have made it sooner. Maybe they spent too much time, you know, refining it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
At the end of the day, I mean, I'll finish up on saying, I've held the belief for a long time, and I've said before on my blog, if you watch a film and you feel like, I wish I was watching X other film. You know, you watch a film and it gives you the impression that you want to watch a different film. That film must have failed on some level. Jurassic World is a film that has built into it the concept of you should go and watch Jurassic Park again.
Yeah.
And to that level, it doesn't work. At the same time, did I enjoy it? Absolutely. Did I come out of it going, yeah, dinosaurs? Absolutely. And there's merit in that. There absolutely is. It's a film that is wonderfully forgettable. And that's kind of where we'll leave it. Listen, David, you've been an absolute star today. It's been wonderful talking with you. But we'll leave it there. I suggest that everybody absolutely go and watch Jurassic Park. Remember, the order of business is read my review, watch Jurassic World, and then read my review again after listening to this one. But thank you everyone for listening. It's been fantastic discussing this film again, and I look forward to the next one that I'm going to put up. Look out for time travel in the near future. We're going to get mind-bendy with a time travel movie. But for now, that is a wrap.